Looking at number 23, we're going to solve this triangle using the law of cosines. So I like to build the triangle first to kind of get a feel of what type of triangle, side angle side, or side side side, etc. That I'm working with. And it's not going to be to scale since I don't know exactly what the triangle looks like, but just to give myself some names. So here is, if I make that angle B, then that's 30 degrees there. And that means over here I'll have side B, which I don't have yet. And then I can make this A. I don't have angle A, but I do have side A across from that, which is 12.9. And then I can make that angle C. And across from that I have 20. In fact, I'm going to, even though my triangle's not quite to scale, I'm going to keep that long side, that 25.8 over there, because that looks like a long side, which makes this angle C and this angle A. Okay. So I have a side angle side. I see that now. Side angle side triangle. So that brings me to side, whoops, not that one, sorry. Side angle side. So that's my little key of what I should do. So I start with the law of cosines to find that third side, side B. And then once I have all three sides, I'll find the smallest angle to avoid the ambiguous case. And then I'll use this triangle sum to find the third side. So I'm going to just zoom in on my notes. So, top of my guide. Okay, so step 1. Let's do that one. I don't know. Let's do it in green. Step 1. I'm going to use law of cosines to find my third side. Actually, before I get started, I like to start with setting up a solution box. Whoops. So this does a couple things. One, as a teacher reading this, it's easier to find your solution, but also as a student, it helps me keep track of what I know and what I need. So if I want to solve the whole triangle, I need those 6 parts. So I already have side C is 25.8 miles. And I have side A is 12.9 miles. And I don't know side B. Angle A I don't have. Angle B I have is 30 degrees. And angle C I don't have. So I have those 3 parts I'm looking for. So this tells me how to get those 3 parts. So start with the law of cosines to find the third side. So we're looking for B. Since I'm looking for B, I'll use the equation for log of cosines that starts with B. So that's B squared equals the sums of the other 2 sides squared minus, so kind of like the Pythagorean theorem, oops, sorry, that should be a C, minus 2 times those 2 sides, and then the law of cosines. So that would be cosine of B. Okay, so my cosine of the angle that's across from the side that I'm looking for. So that I have everything on the right. So I'm just going to plug that in. A is 12.9, that's squared. C is 25.8, and I want that squared. Minus 2 times A, C, and then cosine of B, which is 30 degrees. Okay, and then I'm just going to pound that into my calculator. 12.9 squared plus 25.8 squared minus 2 times 12.9 times 25.8 times cosine of 30. Close that, and I get that b squared equals 255. I'm not going to round yet since I'm not at my final answer yet. So I'm going to kind of leave this in my calculator and try to make my final answer as accurate as possible. Even though when I do get to that final answer, I will round to the nearest tenths. So I need the square root of all this. So I'll hit enter and then take the square root of that. And I get b equals 15.98. I'm going to round to the nearest tenths. So that's the 9 gets rounded up to 10. So that actually becomes 16.0. Rounded to the nearest tenths, and that's miles. So going back to my solutions triangle, I now have side B is 16 miles. Okay, and the next thing I need is, let's do orange, the law of sines to find the smallest angle. Remember, if you have only two angles to find, you find the smallest one first to avoid that ambiguous case. So, let's see. That's different than if I had three angles to find. If I have three angles to find, I start with the largest one, but if I only have two, then I'm going to start with the smallest one. So law of sines looks like sine of A over A equals sine of B over B equals sine of C over C. And I'm going to pick two of those to make proportion and cross multiply. So I'm looking for angle, the smallest angle. That's the one across from the smallest side. I know B now is 16. So that means that angle A is the smallest. So I'm definitely going to want that as part of my proportion. And then I can use either B. Nope, I can't use C because I don't have the whole proportion. So I'll use this and B, which I just found. So sine of A is sine of, well, I guess that's what we're looking for, over side A, 12.9. Sine of B is sine of 30 degrees. Side B is 16. Okay, now cross multiply, and I get 16 times sine of A equals 12.9 times sine of 30. Isolating the piece with the A, the trig function is the last thing I evaluate, so sine of A equals 12.9 sine of 30 divided by 16, which I can put into the calculator. And get 12.9 times sine of 30 divided by 16 gives me 0.403125. But remember, that's the sine of A. So to get A, I'll take the inverse sine on both sides and get there we go. 23, I'm going to go to the nearest tenths again, so that's 23.8 degrees. Okay, so that is step 2. And then we did step 1 over here. And now let's do step 3. Let's do a light blue. 3. So 3 is I take the triangle sum. I already know this angle and the 30, so this one is just going to be 180 minus those two. So 180 degrees minus side angle A and minus angle B gives me see, minus 30 is 150, minus 23.8 gives me 126.2. Okay, and that looks like my final solution. My chart is full. My angles add up to 180 degrees for a little double check. My sides look like they make sense. And that is done.